Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome to a Crucible of War market update. Today is going to be crazy. Today's values are more of this afternoon and this morning. I think in the next 24 to 48 hours, you're going to really see cards change with our update this week. One thing I did want to note is that I missed in my video. I was so excited about the print runs of WTR and Arcane Rising First Edition that I didn't even notice that they did put the print runs in for Crucible of War at 900,000 booster packs, which is 37,500 booster boxes, which is way less than a lot of people thought. I kind of thought it was in the 42,000 range. But that being said, I think you're going to start seeing a lot of cards moving as people react to that information. That being said, let's get started with this week's values. Things were already up earlier this morning, and so it'll be really cool next week to see how the market reacted to this information. So I love to give Mitch a shout out. Mitch at the Midtown Merchant. Mitch and I are in a group chat. We chat very, very regularly. Actually, me, Mitch, and George from Compete Sports. It's just been a really great friendship, and so I'd love to highlight those guys. Mitch has been kind enough to give you a promo code, JustLove10. That is my promo code for Midtown Merchant. And then if you're a patron, you also get 10% off. That merchant code, that JustLove10, is 10% off one order. But if you're a patron, you get 10% off every order once a month. So thank you to Mitch over at Midtown Merchant. If you want to use a TCG Player affiliate link to support the channel, just click the link in the description. That supports the channel for any purchases over the next 3 days on TCG Player, and that really goes a long way. But the biggest way that you can support me and support the channel is by joining my Patreon. And if you're a patron, you get access to a collection tracker. You get access to a Discord server. Here's the collection tracker, but we actually have a tournament going on right now in the Discord server right now. It's pretty cool. They're in round 2 as I'm shooting this video, but the collection tracker is great. And we are working on a version 2.0 for the Monarch release. It's going to be pretty cool. It'll be printable and some really cool stuff. So get hopped into the Patreon. But without further ado, let's get into talking about Crucible of War. We'll start off with sealed box prices, and I did do this updated since the news, and it really hasn't changed. Sealed box prices are still floating around $850 for sold listings. This week we saw it down to $800 as well, but $850 seems to be the new ceiling. And that's a pretty scattered growth. We had a couple spikes in Crucible of War sealed's lifespan, and then we typically have a nice little plateau and then a nice big spike. And so I think what we'll see is maybe a plateau for a while. We'll probably see the continuation of this spike, and then it will plateau for a while again. But that print run number seems pretty significant to this conversation. We'll see what happens over the next couple of days. The Fabled hasn't moved at all, and actually there's currently one sitting for $7,500 on Facebook, and it'll be interesting to see what that sells for. You'll see when we talk about Cheyenne. Cheyenne is currently selling for a lot more than this $4,100 on eBay, so it's interesting to see the price differential between Cheyenne and the Arknight Shard. They've been kind of at the same value for the last couple weeks. A long time ago they were at the same value, but the Shard had been worth about 2 times the value of Cheyenne for a while, and now Cheyenne is going up, but the Shard's not. So it's very, very, very bizarre to see all this stuff going on with the Shard. So okay, let's move on to the Legendaries. The Legendaries, like I said, Cheyenne, check this out. This is a current auction for Cheyenne at $57.01. This ends tomorrow. It'll be so interesting to see the price. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's a minty card. Who knows what this will end up selling for, and this will really set a new precedented price because it's also an auction. So very, very curious. It's the bids are protected. I don't really know what that means, but I'm curious to hear what you think in the comment section on what's going on with this card. Is this Cheyenne's new value, or what's going on? Like, why is it just that it's super nice and gradable? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about that specific card, and then compared to the Shard too. If this sells for $6,000, what's the value of a Shard? I'm super curious to that. The Spring Tunic, this is the Crunic that sold for $450 this week. I saw a couple of them at that price, so that seems to be the new price for that. And then the Twinning Blade Extended Art really hasn't moved much this week. sitting at 900. I think that there's a little bit of worry of what's going to happen with Unlimited Crew whenever that is printed in the 20 blade. I mean, if this 20 blade was a cold foil, it would be nuts. Like it would have skyrocketed like Cheyenne did, but it's a rainbow foil. So the question of like when it gets reprinted, how will that affect it? A lot of people say it won't. A lot of people say it will. Very, very, very interesting to see that there. And I do have that in the legendary slot, and it's not technically a legendary. Cold foils also, they were pretty stagnant. They had, really, really great growth a couple weeks ago, and now they're kind of stagnant. So, it's just curious. But a lot of these are still selling at very, very high cost. We had a lot of growth in the last 2 weeks, and now the prices are just stabilizing. It was nice to see new sold listings at the kind of similar prices that we had seen shoot up a couple weeks in the last couple weeks. So your rares are really sitting about at 150. I think at the end of the video I show you the average rare value compared to the average majestic value, but kind of your average cold foil is sitting at $243 in the box. Courage of Blade Hold at $720. That's still very high. That's still the highest one. The rest of the majestics are sitting at between 300 and 500 with probably an average of around 450. That's a 1% gain. I think these are also primed to start moving as the print run stuff continues to affect the market. So again, I try to say this every time we do a market update. Just remember that this is just the snapshot of today. Literally tomorrow, everything could change. So don't just take my word for the values. Make sure if you're selling 1 or 2 cards, you're looking up all the values to make sure that you are selling them for the most recent updated price. All in all, a 1% gain. The Majestic Rainbow Foils, another huge week, up 8%. Your average is sitting at $48. The Tome and Snag, aren't really the ones doing it. And neither is Spoils of War. This is really just an all-around, I guess, Plasma Purifier. That one was a big sold one. But all around the cards are just kind of up. Really specifically, the Ranger and the Runeblade cards are continuing to go up. Runeblade Barrier up to $58. 3 weeks ago, this card was $25. It's crazy. Chain Lightning is actually down. Let's see. There was another one. Rattlebones is starting to move up. Dread Triptych is starting to move up. And then all the Ranger cards are also, other than Poison the Tips, starting to move up pretty good. I mean, again, Remorseless is $42 now. It was $25 3 weeks ago. So Ranger and Runeblade seem to be people speccing on Monarch. I put a video out a couple days ago about that. All in all, your average is sitting at $48.96, which is up 8%. And you can see the graph here. It dipped down, and now we are at all-time highs on these values. All right, let's go to the non-foil Majestics. We're actually down 2% this week. Courage of Blade Hold, kind of the big factor there, currently sitting at $138. This price last week was probably way, way high. It was probably an outlier. That's why I put it in red last week. And that's kind of the biggest thing driving things down. There are a lot of other cards that are being sold. It just didn't have enough gains to right that ship of the Courage of Blade Hold. Everything across the board is just up like $1, maybe 10%, as people are grabbing cards to play. And the market is drying up on the first edition and is begging for an unlimited right now, in my opinion. So all in all, your average Majestic card is sitting at $33. That's crazy. And the rainbow foil average, if you compare the rainbow foil average to the other one, it's finally starting to split away. There was a couple weeks where they were kind of similar, not similar, but they were, in my opinion, too close. But now they're starting to really separate. As this week it went down, and this week it went down, and the rainbow foils went up. Last week was a huge retracement period here, or huge increase period, a lot due to this Courage of Blade Hold again, which was probably an outlier. So I just wanted to highlight that one more time. All right, the rares, just keep in mind I use TCG low, and then I bring in, like, if there's any outliers. There weren't many outliers this week. You're still sitting, your heroes are still pretty significant here. And they always will be significant. And then your tokens, the Zen State token is also significant. Your average rare rainbow foil is sitting at $13.96. And then your average rare is sitting pretty too. I mean, almost at $2. This is another 20% gain this week. And you're starting to see a lot of like the cash-ins and a lot of the weapons like Reaping Blade and Data Doll, a lot of the heroes and the weapons, and it's just those keep going up and the rest of the cards stay stagnant. So if you open a box and are able to hit a lot of those rares, the more desired ones, there's a lot of value to be had even in the $3 slot, the $4 slot for some of those rares. This is such an interesting product compared to the other sets. But the common rainbow foil, you all want to know what is the current value of the cracked bauble. Well, the low price is about $75. I would say that's a pretty accurate price based on eBay too. And then the other one is, Out for Blood. That card seems hot right now as a lot of warrior decks are playing that. Seismic Surge token sitting at 18. Ira sitting at 25. These are commons. It's unbelievable. Crucible of War is such a bizarre set. It's so much fun to talk about, so much fun to think about. The Copper token at 14. The Quicken token at 8. Where's my Rune Chant at 321? I would say probably if you have a lot of them, you could probably get $4 each if you're selling them in a bulk deal. All right, let's get to our EV calculation. In one box, you're going to get one cold foil. The average of that cold foil will actually be $160 because if you remember, the average of the cold foil price was higher than $160, but you are more likely to get a rare cold foil, probably about twice as likely to get a rare cold foil compared to the Majestic cold foil. Your 6 Majestics, you get 2 foil Majestics, 41 rares, 5 foil rares, and 1 in 10 boxes will have a legendary, and 1 in 40 boxes will have a chance at the fabled. It's interesting to see this number. Your legendary slot is actually more valuable than the fabled slot right now because of Cheyenne. So all in all, if you were to open 40 boxes and you would hit the fabled, you would hit a Cheyenne, you would hit a legendary, right? Your boxes would sit at $893.74, which is a good $50 higher than the market price of a sealed box, which is absolutely crazy. If you were to just open one box and you hit a cold foil Majestic, you don't hit the legendary, you don't hit the fabled, you're still sitting at $819.15. Like, that is absolutely nuts. Like, that is so crazy to me. Like, oh my gosh, like, it's just so crazy that Majestic holds so much value. But if you are able to open a box and you only get a rare cold foil, you're going to be sitting at around $556. At around $523 for your kind of rare cold foil, no legendary or Majestic. So let's go ahead and compare that to last week. Last week we were sitting at $811. This week we're at $894. And that is a 10% gain from last week. Look at these gains. I mean, this set is stupid. It is just dumb. It is unbelievable. The market has fully accepted Crucible of War. It's going to be nuts. This next couple of weeks is going to be crazy. So let's look at our top 10. Feigned Death Rainbow Foil is your number one card, foil card to gain value up 65% from $20 to $33. Dread Triptych, you got 1 Ranger and 2 Rune Blade cards here. Dread Triptych up from $21 to $32. That's a 50% gain, and same with Rattlebones, up $20 to $30. That's a 50% gain. And then your non-foil gainers, again, Dread Triptych, Feigned Death, and then Breeze Rider Boots, the non-foil version. So a lot of these cards that are Ranger and Runeblade are really starting to tick up as people are speccing on that for Monarch. Dread Triptych went up from 15 to 28. That's a $13 gain, or 86%. Feigned Death up a couple bucks, up 36%, and Breeze Rider Boots up $15 for 33%. The cards that lost the most value from Crucible of War this week: Data Doll Rainbow Foil lost $15. That's a change of 20%. Edge of Autumn lost $15. That's a change of 13%. This is actually the cold foil version that was a little soft this week for some reason. Actually, there's a couple of cold foil versions that actually lost value this week. That's going to change next week, I can tell you that much. And then the blue Snag Rainbow Foil, it's only one color, sorry. That went from 61 to 54. That's a loss of 12%. The non-foil cards to lose value were Runeblood Barrier, going from 35 to 20. That's a 42% loss. Righteous Cleansing, going from 26 to 19. That's a 26% loss. And Absorption Dome, going from 10 to 8. That's a $2 loss, or 24%. Anyway, that is the market update for Crucible of War. Hope you all have a great day. Hey, remember to be kind to the people around you. Remember that these values are going to change this week based on the print run numbers, and everything's going to be a fiasco. So please, please, please make sure you do your own research. Use this video as a market update for this past week, and use it to guide yourself if you're selling cards, but don't necessarily use it this week, especially to sell a collection or to value your collection for a sale or a purchase. If you are interested in the collection tracker, I really think there's been such good feedback about it. I think it's going to be a great tool. It's only going to get better long term too, and it's just at a $5 tier on the Patreon. Gets you access to it. You also get access to the Discord server where we're currently playing some cool games. The conversations have been great. We've been buying NetaZoo NFTs because it's been hilarious, and it's just been a really great place to hang out and chat about different TCG stuff, as well as Flesh and Blood. So make sure you join that Patreon. You just go to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. And really the big thing here is this, but you also get $5 off box breaks, case breaks. I'm going to have Monarch stuff. It's going to be great. So I'm really trying to make that a valuable thing for you, and make it a great part for the community as well. And then I also have a bigger tier at $15. That's a podcast called If I Were Investing, which is like if I had the money to actually do something with the data that I know of, what would I do with it? So anyway, hope you have a great day. Sorry for that long tangent. Just showing for myself, I'd love to make this a thing. You know what I mean? Like, we can hang out. We can have fun. This could be my full-time gig. It'd be a lot of fun. So have a good day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. We'll see you tomorrow for Arcane Rising, and we'll see you the next day for a very, very, very spicy WTR. It's going to be nuts. This week's going to be crazy.